Good morning, chat. My name is Penbu. I am the programming, puzzle gaming, music making VTuber on Linux, and today, well, I guess we're not doing any of those, but it has been 1 month since I've started streaming. Debut, if you had missed it, was October 16th, and today is November 16th. So we've been through a lot. It's been 4 weeks, and today is a bunch of you have sent in questions. I got 13 in the form, but if you have any questions that you want to ask that come up during the stream, you can either send them in chat or you can send them in the form that is pinned in the message there. While we're doing that, we are going to be playing KJumpingCube. This is a game that I had mentioned in debut, one that I like a lot. It's a very simple one. Doesn't even have sounds actually, but a lot of fun. So I figured we're going to space out the questions a little bit. We're going to be playing at least one round of this first, and then get to another question, and then repeat. Depending on how quickly we go through it or how slowly we go through it, we might answer more questions at a time. But we are going to start with this one. So the way this game works is that you have this grid of dice, and you click on it to claim it or to add 1 pip to it. If the die is cream colored, that means it hasn't been claimed. If the die is green, then it's yours, and if the die is blue, then it is your opponent's. And the aim of the game is to cover the board, or to claim the entire board as yours. And to do that, you either click on the dice, or you let the pips propagate. So in this case, we have 2 here, and there are 2 dice touching it. If you exceed the number of pips, they will cascade, like so. And in this case, we have 3 dice touching this one, and we can add another pip there, and then we can set it off again. And so this can set off a really large chain reaction, which I'm sure we'll see a lot of today. But it can also come, because of the chain reactions, it can be very unpredictable sometimes. And the board can change hands very, very quickly. And due to that demonstration, I've actually not... Normally I'd be claiming both corners at this point, but I'll make do with what we have. I think I want to leave this one here, in case they do end up setting this one off. So we have a 4 here, so we have 4 dice here. Which means if we add another one here, it'll cascade and set off to the other dice. So generally I'll build up a little bit more. In the early game, it's a lot of setup and trying to get into a good position, and sort of think about making chains. How is everyone today? You can't all be the ones asking me questions. I have to ask you questions too. Okay, so we got a bunch of 3s here, which isn't great. So there's this one that's about to set off, but we're okay for now because this is padded. So at most you'll go to here. This one, this one is ready to set off as well. But at most you'll get about 2, I think, here, or 3, which means this won't react anywhere else. So this area is safe for the most part. So I think we should still be okay there. We have our guard here, we're gonna have a guard here. And I think we can probably add more there. I'm a little bit hesitant about adding 1 here because it means that if they do end up setting this one off, that means we might end up losing this one. I guess I can add one there. And then maybe another one here. So this is getting a little bit dangerous, I think. And you can see the chain there. I feel like this portion can be a little bit unpredictable. So we can consider maybe setting this one off. And then we end up with 4 and 4. Yeah, let's do that. And so if your pips go on to a dice of another color, whether unclaimed or your opponent's, you will claim that that space. And so this one is a little bit of a chain. This one can be a chain. Actually, this one's pretty dangerous because they can set this one off. So we'll set it off before they can do that. And same with this one. This one's ready to set off. And we're pretty shielded from here, so I'm not overly concerned about moving this. But it might be a good idea anyway. This one's ready to set off, which means it'll set this one off. You know, end up with 4 here, 2 here. This one, I think we're okay because we're still padded. So we might want to consider this one. Or maybe we'll just claim this one. So if we don't and they set this off, then we end up with 4 here. This will become blue. This will become 3 and blue. And I don't think they can go any further, so I think we should be okay. And then we have this for protection. Okay, let's claim that. We're gonna do that. And then we can set this one off. I think this might be almost... Oh. No, this is going to change hands very quickly. I think I might lose. Oh. Okay. So, which one is more advantageous? We take this one, which will propagate all the way over here. And all the way over here. We'll claim pretty much this entire sector here. Unfortunately, they can still come back with this one. But it might actually cascade enough to claim this portion too. If we go from here, we claim this segment and nothing else. And this portion is pretty dangerous because this is very loaded. So I think I might go for this one. Oh, okay, alright, I guess we claim the entire thing then. Yeah, this is pretty much good to go. This is all a chain there. Very good. Alright. Well, that's one. So I guess we can answer the first question. What has been the trickiest thing about streaming so far? Well, funny enough, I can actually demonstrate. I find the trickiest thing about streaming as in the past month has been coming up with things to say, especially when there's nobody in chat like right now. Not to call you out or anything, because it's definitely on your choice if you want to chat or not. And I and myself am a lurker in many VTubers chats. So I get it, I understand how that feels. But I do find it's a little bit more difficult to come up with things to say and things that are entertaining when I don't have anyone to bounce off of. I'm the type usually not to say anything in real life when I don't really have anything to say. And I tend to be more reactive in terms of speaking than proactive. It was VTuber on Twitch, Marie Deleuf, who mentioned that when you're streaming a game, it's better not to talk about the game that you're playing, but rather other topics. So I mean, I disagree to a point where I think it's okay to talk about what you're thinking in your head that you can't glean from just watching. Like, for example, here, this is a game that's not familiar to many people, and so I'm talking through what my strategies are, what are in my head, so that you have a better understanding of what's going through my head and why I might be doing the things that I am doing. But at the same time, I also agree with her in that if all you do is talk about the game, then things are going to be not so interesting after a while. Right? You got to keep your audience engaged and keep them interested, and changing topics and keeping things relatable to your audience is something that you should strive for. And that is something that I still struggle with, in part because I don't really have a lot of things to talk about. And if there's nobody in chat, I don't have anyone to bounce off of. So all I'm stuck with, and of course this is something that I should get better at, but right now I'm stuck with just commenting on the game. Which I guess for somebody who's new to streaming like me is fine. But I think it is something that I do need to get better at doing in the future. Okay. I hope that was a satisfactory answer. We can move on to the next game. So again, we'll have this, and we'll have that to claim both corners. I don't actually know what the best strategy is for this game, but I do find myself claiming the edges because it's a lot less, what do you call it? You have to click on it fewer times to claim the territory. You enjoy the commentary and thought process. That's good to hear. The ones in the middle are a lot harder to claim because you require 4 clicks to be able to load it up. So for example, this portion, I mean, they can go in and reach in and all that. So there's nothing stopping me from, say, claiming this one. But that's not really, I don't think that's really helpful to me because they have a lot of blue here, and it's very easy for them to claim it. So in this way, we create a boundary, and we try to charge up our dice here, so that my opponent can think about whether it's a good idea to try to set anything off around here, because I might set something off first. But of course, this is the CPU, so who knows what they're thinking. But the idea behind not doing anything over here is because once these are set off, I will automatically claim these anyway. What I don't want to do is create a line that's fully active here, because anything that's set off here, say if they build this one up, then that'll set off this entire line and they claim this entire area. So I probably don't want to do that. I'll reach in a little bit more. So this one's ready to set off. Which means if I want to guard against this one, I might want to take that and load it up. Okay. Maybe we can do the same with this one. Oh, right. That one was ready. So I think we're gonna have to sacrifice this one probably also. But we can load this one up. So I don't want to touch this, and I don't want to touch this. Because as soon as I touch one of those, if this sets off, then they'll claim this entire area here. So this is my defense there. Which is not so great, because I think I'll only end up claiming these immediate two. but I can work off of that afterwards. In the meantime, I should maybe consider building up here. This might not be a good idea, because this is an entire line, and then you have this as well. So we want to claim this before they set it off there. And now they've claimed this entire area. Can we turn this around? This one is ready to set off. So we're probably going to want to set this off before they do. And then everything else is shielded. Okay, let's do that. This one's going to be tough to recover from. Again, we have another situation here where it's probably best to set this one off before they set it off. Because if they claim this, then all of this is theirs. This is theirs. And so is this. So that's this entire area here. Whereas if we set this one off, one, there's no immediate... Well, there is a bit of an immediate threat here. But the blast radius here is much smaller compared to this one. So it might be in our better interest to do this one. Watch as that backfires. Okay, I don't think it'll reach down here yet. This one is concerning. Okay, that's not too bad. So we don't have any immediate threats here. We have a small threat here. But the worst that'll do is these two. We may want to consider building this one up. Or we also have the option of this one here. So either we build this one up or we build this one up. And I think because of this 4, it might make sense to take this one. And I might want to consider defense over here too. So if we're looking at these 4s, this one might set off. No, this one I think is safe because there's nothing connecting here. If this sets off, then it gets this, it gets this. We can set off with the 4. I think we're in a good position. So I think we'll take this one. Okay. So now it doesn't really matter which of these we set off, because I think it'll cascade anyway. So we may as well set off one of them and see what happens. No, I think I've lost. I'll claim this area, and it's entire... No, it's not possible to keep this one. Okay. Well, that's 1-1. Maybe we'll keep a counter somewhere. I do not think you're in a good position. You had conceded the high ground. Yeah, you're probably right. Also, welcome in. Question 2. What do you think of the casual sexual questions, like for example, panty color? People think it's okay to ask English VTubers for streams like these, simply because Japanese VTuber culture finds it acceptable. Asked unprovoked, they'd be considered harassment in almost any other situation, so I'm often surprised that so many English VTubers treat them otherwise. So thank you for this question. This is a very interesting one, and it's the longest out of the 13 that I got. Also, Sony, for you, if you haven't seen the form yet, it is pinned in the chat. If you want to ask a question, go ahead. I will have a look at the new ones if there are any that come in, probably after I go through these 13. Okay, so to address this question. Is it, for one, is it actually acceptable, more acceptable in Japanese VTuber culture? I don't think I know enough to say. I know that the VTubers ask it themselves, but is it generally acceptable? Not sure. So there are two ways to attack this, two perspectives. One part is that between VTubers, right? Say within a company or in a collab or something. That dynamic is a lot different than the VTuber to the viewer. Between the VTubers, it generally is a lot closer. It's generally a lot closer, and there's a lot of banter, camaraderie, and what have you. And this kind of question, it is safer to ask somebody who's closer to you. I think it was Ren Penrose who said that what happens between the streamers doesn't necessarily apply in the dynamic to the streamer versus the viewer. So if you as a viewer ask this question to the VTuber, that is a different dynamic than a VTuber asking another VTuber during a collab, say. And the difference is that you in chat are not close to the VTuber. And so it's like a random person asking you, like, what's your panty color? And that's, as the question says, would be harassment. And so I think this question gets asked a lot in chat. One, because it is an in-joke, and because it's an in-joke, it can be a little bit more acceptable. But also because there might be a little bit of a misunderstanding between the difference between streamers, and then the difference dynamic between streamer and viewer. And perhaps some people don't understand that line, and see that if they see the two streamers doing it, then maybe it's okay for the viewer to do it as well. I personally wouldn't go around and ask this, but for example, if one of you in chats would ask it to me, I get it. I would get it, I would answer it, and I'd find it kind of funny. Because I am in on the in-joke. But otherwise, I wouldn't say it's necessarily an appropriate question to ask. Okay. Next one. I'm gonna try that again. They've got in this corner. So usually I start with the corners because they're the lowest effort to colonize. Colonize and colonize the surrounding blocks. Guess we're going vertically now. For one of these, I think we're going to try a different strategy, especially if it's not working out. But for now, we'll try the same one. Okay, we're going to want to guard there. And maybe set that one off. We have this one that's ready to set off, and then they'll claim that one, which is then ready to set off as well, but not quite. There's no chain there. So I think we can be safe in... So if they end up setting this one off, then this will be claimed, which means we probably want to fortify this one. Can we go deeper? Okay, so there's no immediate threat here yet. So we're still okay to keep that where it is. By the way, if you are interested in playing this, it's available for Linux. It's going to be in your repos, or sorry, distro's repo. But I think it's also available on Windows. I remember seeing I have a link in the description for where to get the game. And I think I remember seeing at the bottom a link to a Windows installer somewhere. I haven't tried it out on Windows because I don't have Windows, but maybe you'll be able to get it working. Mac, I'm sure you can get it working. I don't know how. Okay. So we have our defense here, because they're probably going to set that off at some point. We do not want to fortify this, because then we'll lose these two. Maybe we'll build that one up. Maybe build this one up as well. I'm gonna leave the corner as is. So we minimize their damage in case there is a chain here. I guess we can build this one up as well. And then here, I think it should be safe to set off. And then we're probably going to want to set this one up. Actually, so if they set off this corner, then they claim this one, they claim this one. But otherwise, the damage is minimal. We have our defense here, so it's not too bad. We may want to consider fortifying this one then. Oh, that does not look fun. I don't want to set this one off. Actually, why not? I can set that one off, because that's not going to chain anywhere yet. What they're not going to want to do is fortify this one, because then I can claim these 3, and also this entire line here, because these are all 3s. So this is probably good as is. I don't want to fortify these ones because, again, we have this. That can be set off. This one I kind of want to leave alone, because this here is a gap that protects us from this one. So we can do a safe move and do one in the middle. Okay, now we do our counterattack. I don't think it really matters which of these we set off, so we'll just do one of them. Oh no. Okay, no, we're still okay. We have to do this one, I think, because otherwise we lose too much territory. But that doesn't really get us... No, this might be a trap. This might be a trap because this ends up being a 4. But nothing else ends up being a 4. Which means they can set this one off. They have a bunch of 3s around. So maybe it's best to stock up on defense on this side. Or maybe over here. Take this one. Questionable. I should have done this one. Because this one is a 3. I didn't think about that. Spaham, hello. Welcome in. Where was I? Yes. So this one, we can do something about it. The problem is that this is a 4, which means we end up losing this area here. But I think we end up losing anyway, because they set this one off. They claim this area. They claim this one. We only have this one left, and we can't fortify this enough in time. I think we just lost. Okay. Oh well, we lost anyway. Next question. By the way, the question form is pinned, so if you want to ask me a question, please feel free to do so. I will be adding more questions after all of these ones are done. So, how many different online identities do you have? I'm going to answer yes to that. Okay, new strategy. See how this works, start in the middle. It's not going to work very well. Or you never know, maybe it'll surprisingly work well. Probably not, though. I feel like I'm just clicking randomly here. It's spending too much time. But if we fortify this with a bunch of ores, I think what happens is we're going to end up with a short burst of chains, and then nothing else. So if they end up fortifying the edges around here, they can close in and probably take over our territory. So this is getting pretty dangerous. But I think for now we're still okay. Game intuition says you're too concerned about blocks and setting things off, but not concerned enough about a large enough end game chain that connects at multiple places. You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. Wait, no, I didn't want to do that. Can I undo? Oh, I can't undo. But that would be cheating. But this might not be over, actually, because we can get this chain here, we can get this chain here. That's probably as far as we go. It's our only move anyway, because this isn't going to do anything. Okay. So yeah, right now I'm not using my usual strategy anyway, so this, even if I lose here, it's a bit of a write-off. We can take this, but even if they, I mean, our damage here is limited if they do happen to take it. We have this, but the same thing, there's no immediate threats. We do not want to fortify this because there's a 4 there. So maybe we can go safe and take this one. Or maybe we take this one. No, let's go with this one. Yeah, the game is pretty simple to understand, and I don't think the strategy is probably not too complicated either. Eventually, I think I want to try to making a web version of this so that you can just load up a website and anyone can try it. But that'll be down the line. Okay, I think we want to set this one off, because this is a very big threat. And I think that chains off over here as well as over here, which means that'll chain over here, and possibly this area here. Yes, I think we might end up claiming this entire bottom half. Oh, I did not make this game. This is part of the KDE Games suite. Yeah, so this is part of the KDE Games suite. It's all free open source by KDE and their contributors. But there's no reason why I can't make an online version. Actually, I think I saw it one university, I think it might have been Berkeley, that assigned one of the assignments was making a clone of this game. So it's got to be simple enough, at least, to make to be able to assign it as homework. And thinking about it, it really isn't that difficult. It's just a matter of figuring out then the specifics of when there are more than 5, where do all the pips go? Because there are cases where I think you get 6 or 7 pips on one. And I don't know how it distributes that. And then if you want to go further, how do you make an AI for this, a CPU? And what should their strategy be? Okay, what do we want to do? We can set this off. It might be in our best interest to do so. Or we can set this one off. So we have this being a chain here. We'll take this area, which is actually pretty dangerous because then it means that we end up with this chain here, or giving them this chain here. But if we set off this chain, then we end up with barely anything. This ends up becoming 4, we give them that. This ends up becoming a 3, this is a 4. Yeah, this one's pretty dangerous here. So you need 3 pips to activate a... This heart is in my way. 3 pips to activate a corner piece, 4 for an edge piece, and 5 for a middle piece, yes. So you need 1 more than the number of dice that are touching the immediate edges. So I'm thinking that maybe we set this one off. Okay, well, we have to choose one of them. Does that give us enough? They'll claim this portion here. And we don't have enough, so we can take this, which means we'll take this, and that's about it. If we fortify this one, then they either claim this portion, or they claim this here, which means they end up claiming this one. And then we can set this one off. So it might actually be better... No, it's not better. It can't be better. Because then they can set this one off. So what do we have here? This ends up being a 3, which doesn't propagate here. This ends up being a 4. This ends up being a 4. This mass probably stays down here. I think this might actually be sheltered. I'm gonna take this risk. And hope it doesn't propagate all the way over there. Aha. We stand a chance. From 1 to most of the board. Yeah, this game changes hands very quickly. However... Oh no, this one's good. I think we're good. Nice. Very surprising. It's kind of like reversing in a way, where if you're not careful, your entire board can get... I guess you can't really flip your entire board and reverse it, but close enough. Alright, next question. Any planned purchases for Black Friday? I do actually, and it's mostly streaming stuff. So I have ideas for how to do an automaton stream. If you remember back in debut, I had mentioned that I play the automaton. I'm not going to tell you what I have planned, but it requires equipment. And I'm planning to buy that equipment over Black Friday and hoping that there are some discounts on the stuff that I'm planning to buy. So look forward to that. Hopefully we'll get a stream either December or early January, something like that. Soon-ish. Would have liked to do a stream with it sooner, but gotta wait for the equipment. And then gotta test it out. Okay. So now we can try... So that one actually surprisingly worked pretty well. I was not expecting that concentrating your efforts in the middle would actually work as well as it did. So we're going to try that again to see if it was just luck or if it's an actual strategy. So the CPU is taking what I would normally do, take some of the corners. Start building up the edges here. And they still don't have... Okay, they have this one that's ready to set off. So we might want to consider... Oh, okay. I think I'm okay to fortify this one, because if they set this one off, then I can immediately set off another chain here. And they probably don't want to do that. I can guard with this one, because this one is ready to set off. This one is sufficiently guarded. And then I'm gonna add another one here. I'm not sure about this one, but this is fine. So there's no immediate threat here, so I don't have to set this off yet. Neither here. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing over here, but as long as I don't make a chain that's too large, it's probably okay. So this one is okay to set off. This becomes a 3, so the damage is minimized to this portion here. So they probably won't do that. This one, this can chain off down here. This becomes a 4. This becomes a 2. So nothing quite there yet. So we may want to consider fortifying this one. Okay, so this one we got defense over here. So we probably don't want to touch that. We may actually want to fortify this one. Because it means that we end up with a 3, and we can chain much more easily if they do decide to set that one off. This one we're not going to touch. I'm going to add one more here. Alright, so now this one becomes dangerous. We can set it off early. I have concerns over that, because if we set this one off, then it means that we set this one off, we make this a 4, and that is ripe for them to create that chain there. So we don't want to do that. Want to just leave that alone and then let this take care of any damage. So we might want to consider something in the middle here, I guess. Okay. So now we have a couple options. We can take this, which is sane, probably. If they set this one off, then they claim this one, this one, this one. Damage is pretty limited. And then they have nothing else that's worth taking, I think. So let's take this one. Okay, no, I didn't see that. That might be enough to kill us. Yeah, that's enough to kill us, because this one will take this and that there. Okay. I should have kept count of how many losses we've had, but I think we've had more losses than wins so far. Next question. What's your go-to quick prep meal? The absolute quickest one that I can come up with, because usually I have rice on hand already. I have a pot of rice just always at the ready. Except today, because I'm running out of rice. So if I absolutely need something very, very quickly, I might take an egg and microwave it for 30 seconds and put it on rice. So that's very, very quick. Very, very quick. If I have a bit of time, I'll heat a pan and take out some sort of meat from my freezer and then cook that. Something that's easy. It doesn't require a lot of cutting, doesn't require a lot of prep work, and ideally something that sticks to just one pan, so I don't have to do a lot of cleanup. And then from there, I'll wipe up the juices and the oils and whatnot with some rice to make fried rice out of that. I'll probably toss in some frozen vegetables as well. So usually some sort of fried rice stir fry kind of thing. Very, very easy, very cheap to make. I find I sometimes have the choice of whether to, when I've run out of food, run out of prepped food, I either have the choice to make instant noodles or order something out or actually cook something. And usually cooking is actually the best of the three options. One, because ordering out is expensive and you're going to be waiting that same amount of time anyway as you would for cooking. And for instant noodles, there's not a lot of nutrition there. It's not going to make you, it's not really going to make you full. So usually cooking is the better option. But what ends up happening is that I end up overthinking the decision and end up taking much more time with the indecision than actually making food. So if I had started actually just cooking, I would have had food by now. But alas. At least I know it's a problem. Okay, so that's 1 for 2 for that strategy. I don't know how effective it is, but it also feels like it takes a long time to do. Penbu cooking stream when? Good question. Like I do have a portable, like a portable cooking surface. One of those, was it butane cookers? I don't have a hand cam set up yet. Maybe in the future. But also, I think cooking just ends up getting really loud. I don't know how the cooking VTuber streams do it. Or sorry, cooking VTubers do it. I mean, Onigiri, if you haven't seen her, she has a whole setup. Certainly nothing fancy as that, though. Okay, so expanding. Now, expanding from here is probably not the best option. But it's a very quick option. But it's like reversing in that your goal at the beginning is not to try to claim as much of the territory as possible, because it's just going to get stolen away from you. You do want to try to set up somewhat more intelligently and thinking about what you might end up chaining. So this is defense here. We don't have good defense here, so this is pretty much a throwaway. But we can do this one. So we'll chain up to here. That's not great, but I don't think we have a choice. This is defense. Well, I don't know if setting this one off is good, but okay, so we'll want to set this one off too. This strategy is mostly me clicking and not thinking too much. And as we saw earlier, we can't celebrate too early because even one square might be enough to change the entire board. I don't think it's going to happen for this one, but you can't be too careful. Okay. So I want to be ready with this one of these two. So hopefully claim this chain here. And which means we'll claim this entire half of the board. This one, if they set this one off, which is likely, they'll claim this area here. And that's about it. So I think I'd rather set something up here and maybe claim this portion. Okay, so they set it off before we can get to it. But that's fine. I think we can still claim this portion. We'll end up claiming this one. This will become a 4. We're still padded here. The concern then is whether this will do any damage to any of the ones here. So I think this will end up becoming a 3. But a 3 is fine. That's not a 4. This one is a little bit concerning though. I think we still have padding here, so we should still be okay. Don't want to touch that, don't want to touch this. We can touch this. It's not going to do too much though. But the alternative is they set this one off. And they claim this area here. That ends up becoming 4. We can set this chain off here. Up here. Do I want to connect this? I'm going to take a risk and connect this. I think there's no danger up here. There's a little bit of danger up here, but I don't think it's enough to move all the way up here. As I... Okay. Well, so much for that. It's pretty clear that we're dead here. Well, I have the excuse that I wasn't really thinking. But next question. Any 1-month anniversary party foods? I didn't actually get a chance to go out and grab anything. But I do have this strawberry shortcake ice cream that someone got me last week. And this is the last of it. I actually ended up having to eat this before dinner. I haven't had dinner yet. But I had to eat it so that I could take a shot of it for this stream. You know, the things you do for content. Game kind of reminds me of Game Design's Dice Wars. I guess it's just in the lots of dice and territory aspects. I have played that game, and hopefully at some point maybe stream it as well. But yeah, Dice Wars is a good game too. Okay, maybe we can try focusing on the edges this time. I feel like the edge strategy isn't a very good one. That's a little bit concerning. We can create a 4 there. This is very dangerous. Actually, it's pointless to waste a move here because they're just going to claim it. But this one is still pretty inert. Probably want to claim that one. Yeah, somehow I feel like this is probably the worst of the 4 strategies we've tried. Or maybe I'm just not doing it right. Yeah, let's set that off. So we don't want to do this one because they already have one ready to go there. This one does not connect. This one we probably don't want to connect. This one also does not connect, but also that's pretty inert. This one doesn't, isn't ready to accept anything. Actually, no, this is ready to accept things if we need it. So maybe this should be fortified. So we're still safe there. There's no chain there. And then we have... What do we have? I guess we can just waste a move over here. Oh, actually no, it's probably better to take this one. So I have a 4. Probably best to take this 4. Which will get us up to here. That's a little bit dangerous because this will end up with a 4 here, which means they can set that off. But it's not like we have much of a choice, I think. And we can always attack again on this side. Okay, so we have a chain here, getting a little bit dangerous. And then we have a thing here, which we probably do want to do something about, because otherwise they claim this entire bit. And then we have this here, which is pretty small in terms of blast radius, I think. So let's set this one off. And I think there goes our biggest chain. But that's probably okay, because it looks like the rest of the board is more or less inert. For now. Because there's this big chain here. So we probably want to defend on this side. Probably. Okay, that looks pretty good. We have this chain here, which will end up with 4s here. This one can potentially set this one off here. Do we manage to get any chain wrap around here? I think it stops around here. So this is a little bit of a risky play. And maybe we don't actually do that. Because if we don't, then they set this one off. Which means they set this part off, and they set this entire portion as theirs, and then this one's theirs too. We can counter with this, because this now is now a 4. Do we want to do that? Because there's nothing else, because I think this one ends up being a 3. Nothing up here gets touched, probably. I think we just end up yeah, maybe we just do a big chain. And that may be a mistake. We will see. Okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad. We can't claim as much as we have before. That might be okay. Okay, so now we don't have any big chains, and we have all this up here, but I don't think that's going to extend all the way out here. We might want to consider fortifying this one so that we can extend a little bit more. The question is, are there any immediate threats? Probably not. This cluster looks like it might. I think this ends up being a 4, so we're probably okay there. Unless something out down here cascades. But I think we're probably fine. I don't know if I want to fortify that in this case. But I don't think we really have any other moves either. Except this one. Okay. Well, I think we have to set this one off now. That one's gone. This one is all gone. No, we're gone. Okay. So, edge strategy doesn't work. If that was the edge strategy, I don't remember. Next. How is Ket doing? What did he think about you sacrificing Pengus in the Pengu stream? Well, as you can see down here, Ket is doing fine. And to be honest, he probably would have done the same thing. If you remember from the thumbnail, which I actually forgot to prep for this one, but the thumbnail of the Pengu stream, he was behind the backdrop, very big, and much bigger compared to the other penguins. So yes, he probably would have sacrificed them too. Okay, so I guess we can go back to my old strategy and see how that holds up. Or not, because now I'm taking opposite corners. I don't think it's the edge strategy as much as your mid-game plays. The early game is a lot of setup, but the game basically is won or lost based on where you do your fortress in mid-game. That is, yeah, you might be right there as well. Because the early game is, I guess, the early game is trying to build your control, I guess, your territory. But the mid-game is trying to build up your chains. So yeah, if the chains are lacking, and your opponent builds a lot more chains, then the board can definitely turn around a lot faster. But I do think the edge strategy is worse than the other ones. Or at least it feels a lot less efficient. No, that one's fine. Sometimes I go through this game and click before I think, which is not great. But I guess that's also what makes it a good like sit down and relax kind of game. And it's less infuriating than Reversey. At least I find it to be less. This one's ready to go. I feel like this one is just a sacrifice at that point. Or maybe not. Yeah, I'm not sure there's any point in trying to reclaim this one. Because you end up with one here, and then another one here. This ends up becoming a 3, which is ready to set off for this one, which means you end up losing the space anyway. So maybe not. This one? This one is a pretty big chain though. A little bit dangerous. Well, I guess we can add to the chain. Alright, so we have to set this one off. Because if we don't, we're left with this area here. And that's probably not going to be enough to do anything. Okay, so there is this portion here. I think we're still probably safe. There's not a lot we can cascade to though. We have to do this one, otherwise we lose the entire thing. Except for this one, which isn't going to be useful. I think we're pretty padded here, so we should be okay. And then we'll want to take this one. Oh, okay, we lose this portion anyway. Just gotta hope that we don't lose everything. And we've lost everything. That's definitely a mid-game thing. Okay, next question. You've answered a lot of questions. Make sure to drink water. I will do that. Not a question, but I did say in the forum that you can ask 9 questions. Okay. Actually, this isn't my usual strategy either. This is my old strategy. until I started fortifying these ones at the midpoint. Well, we can go with that. Kind of have to. Set that one off as well. And then build up here. That one's not going to go anywhere, so that's safe. And then this is a good chain up here. We'll claim this area. Nothing else is set to set off there. And the question is this going to create a chain that I didn't see? Quite possibly. But I think we're pretty close here because we can take everything here actually. Except for this one. But they can't do anything with that, so they're stuck with this, which I can leave off for a little bit. We can set this one off. Well, the question is, do we set this one off and possibly get the stuff down there? Or do we set this one off and limit ourselves to just over here? Which they can't do anything about anyway. Shouldn't matter. We claim that, and then they have only this left. Oh, alright, great. That was nice and efficient. Next question. You said in your introduction that you play Mahjong. What is your favorite Yaku and your favorite tile? Favorite Yaku is Ippeiko. I don't know what it is about it, but it feels so. Ippeiko, if you're not familiar with Japanese Mahjong, it is the same sequence. So for example, 1, 2, 3, twice in the same suit. So 1, 2, 3 of characters and 1, 2, 3 of characters. And then you also have to make sure that your hand is hidden, so you have not claimed anything, except possibly your winning tile. Favorite tile? Let me guess. Got a link for you here. I feel like the Church of Sanzo is going to be out for me if I don't say Sanzo. But if not the Sanzo, then I guess maybe the Haku, the white dragon. Nothing in particular about it, but so there is actually one Mahjong club that has the white dragon as their logo, and it turns out it was a bit of a joke because somebody in the general Mahjong Discord server said that the next Mahjong club to be made should be bold and creates a logo that's just the white dragon, because every other Mahjong club has some sort of symbol based on on Mahjong. So usually that's either the red dragon or the say the one pin. One pin is very very common, but nobody's done the white dragon until the Toronto Reach Club. I'll send you a link to there as well. But yeah, as you can see, their logo is a very simple white dragon on a blue background. And if you look in their About page, they have all this big lore about what their logo means. Kind of funny. But yeah, that's that. So the PR answer for favorite tile is the Sanzo. But otherwise, probably not that. Glenn, welcome in. If you haven't submitted a question, well, you know where the form is. I know you did see the form because you posted whether you should answer, put in your answer to your question. But yeah, definitely. If you still can put in your question, I will be looking at the extra ones after the other questions are done. Because there have been a few more that have come in, and I do want to answer them as well. We're at a good pace. I've answered 10. I'm on slide 10 out of 15, and there were initially 13 questions. With I think I added 2 extra slides, so we have a couple more questions left, and I can load in the new ones. Let me just have a look to see how many new ones there are. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to start at the edges. Or like here. Actually, I do kind of want to claim the corners so that they don't claim it first. Oh no, okay, that one was done without thinking. I hope that doesn't cost me the game. Yeah, well, welcome in. So the game, the way it works is that you have a grid of dice, and the number you want to try to fill it with your color as like completely with your color. I am green, my opponent is blue, and the way you play is you click on 1 die, and that increases the number of pips by 1. If the number of pips exceeds the number of adjacent dice, so in this case 2 here, 3 for the edges, and then 4 for the ones inside, it will propagate those pips out to the adjacent dice, and that can set off a chain reaction. You'll be able to pick it up pretty quickly once you see it in action. For example, this 3 is ready to set off, which I can, I guess. And then whatever, then you end up claiming the adjacent dice as well. And as we've seen in previous games, this game can change hands very, very quickly. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd game where I only had 1 square left, and I ended up clearing the entire board. Can you click on the yellow one? Yes. So these yellow ones are the ones that are unclaimed. Either of you can click them. You cannot claim dice that are your opponent's, but you can click on either the unclaimed ones or yours. I feel like I'm not thinking well enough. Okay, so this one's defense. This one, I'm surprised it's hanging around for so long. But it's not like you can do anything with that. So actually, I want to keep this the way it is. This one still has padding, so we're okay there. Maybe we want to start fortifying this here. Can you click dice that are not adjacent to your own? Not that they would exist in the early game. Yeah, so as long as it's unclaimed, or one of yours, you can click it. So usually, the strategy that I've been doing, and what the bot seems to be doing as well, is at the very beginning you start by claiming the corners. So right there is two non-adjacent dice that you can click. I'm going to start with this. This one is going to set off. But it's also not an immediate threat because there's nothing here. Okay, so I feel like I need to be very careful about the chains that we make here, but also being very careful that we don't give them a chain. Yeah, this feels like a loss, but we're going to play it out anyway. You never know. I don't think I want to touch this one. Or maybe I do. I don't want to set this one off until they set this one off, I think. But even then, this one This one poses a threat. Maybe this one. Or maybe this one. Okay, now we have to set that one off. Which is unfortunate because that gives them a lead down here, but I think all they'll claim is this portion anyway. Except this would have already gotten, this is a 3, which means this could potentially be a 4. I think it just stays just as a 4. No, but then we claim this one too, which means it's already a 4. It's not like we have a choice anyway, so I just set it off. See what we get afterwards. Ouch. So far okay though. We can set this... We don't have a lot of moves anyway, so what do we have? If we don't set this one off, then they can will likely do this one. So they'll claim this one, they'll claim this one, they claim that one. And I think we're dead. So we're forced to claim this one. To stay alive for at least another couple of turns, maybe. So taking a lot more territory than I thought. Might not be enough though. I think the order of setting off matters too because the game always prioritizes the last unbombed chain. I haven't actually looked into the code and seen what it prioritizes, and I haven't been able to glean just from inspection what it is. So if you say it's the last unbombed chain, then it probably is. Although in practice, I feel like it's probably doesn't matter too much because it always ends up resolving to the same thing anyway. At least as far as I can see. But I also haven't tested it out. But we're dead anyway because this one's bound to set off. Okay. Next question. Have you touched grass recently? No. Despite what my profile picture has been, I haven't had time to really go out. I was supposed to go out Tuesday, but I did have to work a little bit later than usual, and then I think I had something in the evening, and the time between work ending and then that thing in the evening was not enough time to go anywhere. And then for days that I have stream, I end work. Usually I'll take a nap or maybe prep for stream, and then I stream, and then after stream, it's already late. So I'm thinking maybe next week I'll have a lighter week, just so I can go out and do stuff like get groceries. But yeah, recently not so much. I'm pretty sure it matters because if you start from the bottom, prepares the middle for a set off, and then you can set off the top via chain. I think perhaps in certain configurations it might matter. For most, I think it might not, but again, I think I'd have to test it out. But that's what the if we ever make a web version of this, that's what it would allow us to test out. Just set up the board randomly, and then, or like the way we want it, and then see how different configurations would react to like to chains. Something like that I can't explain, but my intuition says it matters. Can't prove it. Saw a possible game scenario in third last move of the last game. Well, we can definitely look at the VODs and see if we can figure that out. I don't think there's a way. So there is a way actually to save the game. So there, and there is a way to load the game. So we might be able to reverse engineer the game format so that we can load an arbitrary setup and see what we get. Okay, next game. But yeah, my intuition at before I started playing a lot was that it probably mattered, and then after I started playing more, it started feeling like it didn't really matter. So I'm not sure if it's more that most cases it doesn't matter, or if it actually just doesn't matter. But yeah, I would definitely like to see, if you can find a counterexample, I'd definitely like to see it. Because it is something I've been curious about. I'm focusing too much on these. I need to build chains. So is the strategy just to make a lot of threes? Because I feel like that's what the bot is doing too, just making a lot of threes. So maybe we'll start by making a lot of threes. Or twos, or ones. I think it does not matter in general because you need a chain where you might have another chain forming thanks to which one bombs first. Yeah, I think it ends up canceling out or something. But your playstyle does not make a lot of those possibly. I don't know, I'm half asleep. I'm also not really thinking a whole lot, so it could be that. I would like to see some high level. Okay, well, we're dead. I haven't looked, but there might be some high level play videos of this. I doubt it, but you know, everyone speedruns something, so I don't know. If we do find one, I'd like to see it, because it's always these kinds of games where if somebody has figured out a good strategy. It's something that you probably haven't thought of, and it's something that'll blow your mind. Next question: pineapple on pizza. I do enjoy pineapple on pizza. It was something that I grew up with as a kid, and I have no objections to having it as an adult. So I think the actually bring that back up. The what is it? I think a lot of the objections that people have is that it's not a traditional ingredient, which really, I guess even pepperoni isn't, like New York style pepperoni isn't. But you still have that on pizza. And if you want to stick to Italian pizza, then you don't have New York style pepperoni, you have like real Italian pepperoni that curls up on the edges. But I think it's okay to try out new things and combine new things and make new foods and all that. And pineapple on pizza, I do enjoy the contrast that the sweetness gives. But I'm also Filipino, right? We put sugar in everything. Or at least sweet things in everything, so that might be part of it. Okay, moving on. Speaking of Filipino, Hollow-Star ZN Gen 3 has been announced, and it seems like at least 2 of them are Filipino, so that'll be interesting to watch. Yeah, farther being last bomb one makes a difference. Yeah. Again, I think it's you're probably right, and that's what my intuition said at the beginning. But I think we also need to come up with a counter, like with an example where it does make a difference. Because you can go on and say that it is probably this or it's probably that, but until you prove it, they're all just words. But it is something, like I said, it's something I'm curious about, so definitely if you do find something, let me know and we can look at it, take a look at it on stream or something. we have here? By the way, if you're not in the Discord, the link to the Discord is in the description if you'd like to come and hang out with us. There are a bunch of channels there for a bunch of the topics that we cover on stream. So programming, puzzle gaming, music making, and a few other things as well. You can also get notifications of when I am live and the schedules as well. And again, I am not thinking. What do we have? This was pretty dangerous. This is dangerous for them. If we don't set this off. Okay, no, other question. If we do set this off, then I think we can actually claim this one because this makes it a 4. And then this makes it a 5, which means that sets off this one. We claim these 3 here. This becomes a 4 because of this one. That chains up to here. That also becomes 5 because we got one from here. So we chain here. And I think that is actually probably our best option. There is the risk of this cascading outwards and this one cascading outwards. But I think the blast radius for this is pretty small. So let's set this one off. Okay, I did not expect that one to be claimed. This one is pretty safe. This one has the potential to be very dangerous. Okay. We might have actually lost there, because this looks like that might... Yeah, okay, no, this claims that. We might be okay here. We're not okay there. Sets that off and we're dead. Good run. Good run. Alright, next question. Tabs or spaces? So this is a programming question and one about code formatting. There is a debate on whether you should indent with tabs, like tab characters, or with spaces. And this is the arguments for tabs is that you have only one character and people can customize how wide they want their tabs to be. And then the argument for spaces is that it looks the same for everyone looking at the code. Pragmatically, with the code that I write, it tends to be spaces. However, I do see the value in having tabs. And my ideal, if I didn't have to deal with anyone, might be indentation with tabs and then alignment with spaces. The best of both, I think, would be elastic tab stops. But unfortunately, elastic tab stops don't quite have the implementation. It doesn't have a wide amount of support as I would like it to have. Let me just get you a link there. But elastic tab stops are very nice, in theory. I haven't actually tried them out. But basically, if you end up looking at the link either now or later, elastic tab stops say that one tab is one column of alignments, and then it doesn't matter how long the text is within that column, it'll always shift so that the tabs are aligned. Just use either and use something like black on Python to forcibly convert everything to a specific style when committing anyway. I don't like to write tools that mess with my code, funny enough. So I actually just prefer to write in the style that is going to be committed, and prefer to do my own formatting. Although, I mean, I can understand, or like, I'm okay with the linter maybe fixing certain errors in here and there, but I prefer not to use a whole formatter if I can help it. Because doing so, in my opinion, is a little bit lazy, and some would say that that's brain power that you don't need to take up because you can get the tool to do it for you. But at the same time, I think being able to write clean codes, or clean looking codes, right from the get-go, helps you think about the code that you're writing. And so anyway, that's my position. And sometimes, on occasion, I will write in ED. Which I guess if you're writing in ED, you can still use a formatter. Yeah, I guess it's a stronger case for using a formatter if you're writing in ED, actually. Anyway, in summary, tabs are spaces. Elastic tab stops would be nice, but I use spaces. You get the best of all worlds. You choose whatever you like for coding, and the thingamajig gives everyone the style of consistency. Nobody has to deal with everyone else's preferences. I guess it is a little bit annoying to be in a code base where. So my main language is JavaScript and other web languages, and I do not like having no semicolons. To me, not having semicolons is a bit of a abuse of the semicolon insertion system. And also the comma first style I don't like either. And so yes, I guess you can reformat it in such a way so that the formatting doesn't matter, but at the same time, you know, code readability is a thing, and sometimes you do want to be formatting things in a way that is a little bit counter to what the like what the tool would produce, because it's a little bit more readable. But yeah, definitely as somebody who has to adjust to other sorry, I mean, that's the thing, you are thinking like a solo programmer. I'm thinking like someone who will have to adjust to others' preferences of collaborating. So I do work in an environment where I do have to collaborate with other people, and you do have to make compromises. So yes, if that works for the team, then absolutely go for it. Where is this going? Yeah, there are a lot of things in my at work where it's actually changed the way I've. That was not a good idea. It's actually changed the way I write things because of our style guide, and I've been there for so long. And it's kind of a bit of a hard habit to break. So I can understand that if I'm working a very foreign code base, it might be something to consider. So I have this chain here. I have this one here. This, okay, so this will claim here, this will claim here. I don't think we'll end up getting here. So we might end up getting this one. But yeah. Something like that. In general, I do understand though that like if you're working with other people, you will you will more likely than not end up writing in a style that is not your preferred style, unless maybe you're the tech lead and then you can dictate the style guide. But even then, I think you still have to make certain compromises, and even that I think is a good skill to have, to be able to be flexible enough to work with things that ultimately don't matter as much when working with other people, like style. This is dangerous. That is dangerous. Okay. It got reversed. So now it's the CPU had one and then took all. Man. Alright, next question. What kind of music genres are you into? This is actually something that I covered in my debut, so I'm going to put up the debut slides. I actually didn't go through this as deeply as I would have liked to, so I can take this opportunity to do it now. My parents, specifically I think my dad, listened to more 70s, 80s, 90s pop rock. So I do have that as a bit of a foundation. And then anything after 2000s is pretty sparse in terms of Western stuff. I got into anime sometime in the mid or early 2010s. And the anime I watched, of course, mostly I think past the 2000s, although I have watched some that were before that. So a lot of anything that's post 2000 is going to be anime stuff. And then from the 2020s onwards, I do enjoy a lot of VTuber music. Even if it's songs that I would normally not have listened to, if the VTuber has covered it, then I will generally enjoy the cover. There are still certain styles that I don't like and don't prefer. But if the VTuber has done something that I think is nice, then I would consider that I like that. Classical, concert band, orchestral. So I was in music class in all 4 years of high school, and I was part of the percussion. I was playing the glockenspiel, mallet percussion, and it was during music class that I think I got an appreciation for this kind of music, because I don't know if you've ever played an instrument before, and an instrument with a band, but there's something about playing together and making sounds together in a way that's very cohesive and it sounds. My vocabulary isn't great, but sounds great, and it's very moving. I find the experience, and creating that kind of sound together. Prior to that, my only music experience, so they taught us recorder in high school, and we went to, it was grade 3, we went to local orchestra, symphony orchestra, to play with them. I think it was at some sort of event or something where they had a bunch of schools come together with all the people playing, with all the students playing the recorder, playing along to Ode to Joy, along with the orchestra. It sounded, I mean, to my ears, back then, it sounded fine. It was good. It probably didn't sound as good as I thought it would, as I thought it did. But then in grade 7 and 8, I took keyboards. There was very basic keyboard. And then high school, because of my keyboard experience, they put me on the glockenspiel. And then, yeah, from there, I was in band. In university, I also went in band for the pep band, the ones that play in sports games. It's a little bit looser. And I picked up more of the drums there rather than the mallet percussion, because they had a glockenspiel there, but it wasn't really something that was loud, because the point of a pep band is to be kind of loud, right? And then another point there I have is acoustic. So I enjoy acoustic music. Electronic, not so much. I enjoy some electronic music, but I find there's a certain realness to acoustic music that you don't really get with synthesized stuff. And I think that's another. I think it's that realness also that attracts me to the classical, concert band, orchestral stuff as well. To call out specific artists, Oku Hanako, piano singer-songwriter, Japanese. She was actually what got me into to anime in the first place. And I guess if you follow the trail over to VTubers and why I'm a VTuber now. But her stuff I really like. She has a great voice. Does a lot of piano stuff. And it really fits, I think, what I like to listen to. I don't listen to her as much anymore these days. I find I listen to a lot more VTuber stuff. But I do still appreciate her music. I don't think she's creating anymore. I think she's still going around in concerts, maybe. She has started streaming. Actually, I can send you a link to her channel. But yeah, I think for the most part, she's probably done making music. Any new music. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I think there was a mention at some point that she might be creating more stuff, like she wants to create a song. But I haven't heard anything about that in recent times. But I also haven't been really keeping up, so I could be missing out on something. So Okuhanako there. And then Peter Cetera to fill in the favorite artist for the 70s to 90s pop rock. And the story behind that one is that there was one popular song, and I can't remember what it was, that sampled Glory of Love. And I can flat out say that I didn't like it and what they did to it. And I think that was a bit of a catalyst for me to getting into songs. I got to go. This is an interesting stream. We'll catch the answer to my question later. Yeah, thanks for coming. And yeah, we'll the VOD will be up, so you'll be able to catch it. But yeah, thanks for coming, and hope to see you in the next one. So yeah, Peter Cetera. What do we have? Yeah, I like his stuff. He was part of Chicago. I prefer the Chicago that he was in rather than Chicago where he's not. So I guess you could say I'm more of a fan of Peter Cetera than Chicago. I do like his post-Chicago stuff too. Probably much more than the Chicago stuff. But anyway, that's that one. I think that might be the end of the initial batch of questions. But we'll find out after this next game. I'm keeping an eye on the time because I do... Oh, so Fujikura Uruka of Base Connect is streaming a violin karaoke stream at 10:30 p.m. my time, Eastern. So I do want to end before that. But we got an hour. We got time. One funny thing I've noticed is that the overall loudness of classical music recordings seems to be somewhat noticeably quieter than for other genres of music, to my dismay. Yeah, I feel like other genres, especially the more recent ones, they tend to be a lot more compressed. And so the compressed sounds make it sound a lot louder than it would otherwise be. That said, if you are playing in the orchestra, then you actually need hearing protection because it gets a little bit too loud. And here we go again, clicking things without thinking. That's getting a little bit dangerous, but it's still fine. I do not want to set this one off because this is good defense. So I think I may want to consider trying to fortify this line here. And that was probably a bad idea because now this is all gone. It seems like a game that I would try to approach as a Timmy, then quickly gets frustrated after having no wins for a while. I wonder what the win rate is if you just click randomly. Maybe we can try that afterwards. But your intuition, I think, does does help you here, at least for a certain, up to a certain point. I think it's enough to hook, oh, I mean, at least for me, it was enough to hook me into the game. It was just enough that I knew there was something that I could improve on, and maybe figure out a strategy for. That was a bad idea. That's a bad idea because of this. I'm gonna set this off here. But yeah, it's also very, very quick to learn. Very quick to pick up. But again, I think it depends on the amount of patience you have for learning games. That is dead. Okay, we're done. Okay. So let's see if we have any more slides. Okay, that's the first one. So we are going to load up the next few. And for that, I'm going to go to intermission so I can set things up. So I will see you in a bit. Alright, welcome back. So I got 2 more submissions, and I think the last 2 are probably related. Welcome, adventurer. You have answered the trusty old Glenn's quest for help, and he is a very trusty mage indeed. I, however, cannot believe there is a task he could not clean up all by himself. What shall be a name, and what be your weapon of choice? Magic or mace? Reliable old swords? I am absolutely awful at coming up with creative stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you can come up with something for me. I feel like my weapon of choice might be a bucket, though. So that might be interesting. As for names, what's a good sounding name? What do you think? If we run off Penbu and try to deconstruct it and reconstruct it. So Penbu comes from penguin buckets. Honestly, penguin bucket doesn't sound too bad either, but maybe we should shorten that. Well, there's also Gwyn. So I was thinking maybe that Gwyn is a name that hasn't been used. So I'm Penbu. Bucket is Kets. So I took the pen and boo from Penguin Bucket. Ket took the Kets, but there's no Gwyn. Could anagram it. You could. What would you anagram it as? Yun. I think we need to get rid of a letter for that to work. Something. Yeah, we'll think about it. I mean, we have ideas there. We can work with that. But yeah, I guess we're wielding a bucket. Bungee nut pick. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we are out of questions there, but if any of you have any more questions you want to add, it's not too late. You can add more. I will be checking it. And we can probably go for a little bit longer too. Hopefully get a win. So I don't know how many games we played, but I think we've only had like 2 or 3 wins. And we played a few, I estimate maybe about, oh no, we know exactly how many games we played. Because we've had 13 questions. So we must have played 14 games. And we probably only won about 3 of them, or 4. Not a great win rate. But there you go. Bucking tea plan. That sounds a little bit more appealing, I think. Or more adventurous. What am I doing? Right, there was another strategy that I wanted to try out where we would try to fill it with 1 less than needed to it's 2 less than needed to set them all off. So the 1 here, 2 here, and then 3's for the middle. Penbu is mightier than the sword. I don't know about that, but maybe the bucket will be. Question, what am I doing? That's a question I will ask myself too, because I don't know. But yeah, if you don't mind not being anonymous, you can also send your questions in chat. We have this. We have this. Should probably set this one off. The rest of these are padded. That was not a good idea. Okay. This one's not an immediate threat. This one I kind of don't want to set off yet. Save that for defense. Maybe bring this up a little bit more. So that if they do set this one off, then we can still retaliate that way. No, I think at this point we have to. Otherwise we lose too much. but this isn't good. Maybe we lost that already. This one sets off. So here, that chains here, this chains here, and then it stops there. We have to set this one off, I think, otherwise we lose too much territory. But then we give them a chain here, a small one, so I don't know if it's worth it. If we don't set it off, then we give them this becomes a 4. No, I think it might be advantageous to set it off. But I think we might have lost this one anyway. Oh, we're not dead yet. Okay. We will be dead soon. Because we set this off and that's about it. We end up with a 4 over here. Oh, actually, no, we end up with a 5 over here. So this becomes a 5. This becomes a 5. Which means we set this off over here. This might become a 4. Might be a 5. Not quite sure. I think this is enough too. So we end up claiming this area. Claim this area. We don't get this one. We probably won't end up claiming this portion either. But we can start with that. We might end up going back and forth a little bit. Or not. Is that enough? That is enough, okay. That's that. There are 2 wins again. Well, let's keep going. So we're going to try the strategy where we try to have a buffer for everything. So actually, this was not a good move to do. I'm going to restart. Let's not take the corner. And this is already looking like a very bad strategy. Because the opponent will just eat up whatever. Like, this is too slow. Clicking singles is much slower than propagating pips. No, I think we're gonna have to abandon the strategy. We're just gonna lose. Cascades. Fortify. Defend. I didn't wait, I didn't even see that. Hold up. No, this is probably just a write-off at this point. Yes. So this, it's fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. So maybe this. But I don't want this one. This is pretty dangerous. Okay, if we got a 4, I think we have to set this one off. This is not good. Surprisingly, we're not dead yet, and I don't think this is enough to Yeah, okay. That said, I don't think this is enough to turn it around either. Because we make a chain here. That propagates to maybe around here. Make it, and this propagates to around here. And that's it. This becomes a 4. Which might be enough to just set off everything else there. But it's not like we have a choice, so there's no point in thinking about it. Interesting. Okay, we got some ammo. So I think we have to choose this one. Because otherwise we lose the rest of the stuff here. And surprisingly that covers everything here. That's not going to be enough to cover here though. Oh, it is. Okay, now we just won. Very good. We'll keep going for a little bit. If I see the question slowing down, I think we might end it at the next win. Not the next win after this, maybe a couple more after. Question, how do you shot web? I feel like that's a reference and I don't know how to answer it properly. How do you shot web? I don't want to set this one off. There's a meme with Spider-Man asking how do I shot web. I figured it was a Spider-Man meme. I actually haven't seen that one around yet. Probably not in the right circles. Okay, we defend here. I guess we have to claim this. Okay, no, this one is a little bit... So what if we don't claim this? Then they claim this entire area here. If we do claim it, then we claim this entire area here. We gain 3 spaces-ish. And then we give them another 3 here. Have you really been far, even as decided to use even go want to do look more like? How do you parse that? Oh no, there's another one here. And I feel like that's another reference that I haven't encountered. No, I probably have encountered something like that. But I also don't know how to respond to that. Or maybe just yes. This? How is Babby formed? Go ask your mother. I mean, I guess we should probably set this one off. Because if we don't... Actually, even if we don't, then it's fine, mostly. But we don't have enough material to work with. The concern with this one is that if we do set this off, then that means this ends up being a 4, and we end up losing this one anyway. We haven't really gained too much material. And I think we'd actually end up losing... No, we'd end up losing this portion too. So is it worth doing so? We end up losing, if we don't set it off, then we lose this portion here. But then we still have this here. I'm gonna take a risk. It's probably not a good risk, but we're doing it anyway. You're wielding a bucket. A gremlin approaches you. How do you respond? How big is the gremlin? Because they might be small enough to fit in the bucket, in which case I will take them in the bucket. This is not looking good. I'll take this one. We don't have a lot of material to work with anyway. Okay, so we have a little bit of defense from that, but we don't have any good chains. So we'll take this, turn that into a 4. Turning it into a 4 was not a good idea. And we lost this one. Continue. Feels incredibly inefficient. Also, in case any of you are coming in just now, we have gone through all the questions, but if you want to ask any more, you can check out the pins link, and I will load that up if you put anything more. You put the gremlin in the bucket. You now have a gremlin in a bucket. Which carnival ride do you take the gremlin in the bucket with you to ride? Carnival ride, huh? When was the last time I've been to a carnival? Spinning teacups. That might not have been a good idea. It should still be fine though. This, I feel like I might not want to take care of right away, because this will become a 4. This will become a 4, which then I have defense here, so it should be fine. I can take this. Want to take this one, or I want to take this one? I feel like I probably should take that one. At which point, I should maybe consider taking this one. Which means we give them a 3 here, and then they take this one, but then I take it back. Probably this one. The person running the ride says that the gremlin is too short to ride. What do you do? Well, if they're too short to ride, they're probably gonna be too short to ride for everything. What if I negotiate with the person running the ride, saying that they'll be safe in the bucket? This one? I'll take this one too. Okay, this is looking pretty loaded. I don't have enough to do anything with it though. And the problem with this is that this will circle around for a long time, and then it might end up making its way here. So I think I want to fortify this side. Actually, no, that was probably not a good idea. It's going to circle around, it's going to hit this eventually, maybe. and then it's going to take that. Or maybe not. We'll see how far it goes. Well, I'm dead. This is going to be a 3, and it's going to take that. The one in the corner here might be safe for 1, but then it's not. Oh, no, that's both 3. Never mind. Okay. Let's check the questions again. Nothing there. So I'll try again with the edges, and then work our way into the middle. We need defense. We don't necessarily need defense. Okay, we have defense now. Let's upgrade this to a 4. And do I want to touch this? Ooh. I don't know about that one. It wouldn't hurt, I think. It probably wouldn't hurt. This might, though. Wait, no, that's a 3. Okay, I have to set this one off. But unfortunately I gave them more ammo there. Person running the ride lets you on after your explanation. You and the gremlin enjoy a ride on the spinning teacups. The gremlin thanks you and gives you a bag of dice. I accept the dice. Actually, no, I inspect the dice. I accept it and then inspect. I want to set this off. Funny how we still have one not claimed here. Not that it's useful to claim this one, I think. Probably better to build off somewhere in here. Do I make this a 4? Do I make this a 3? I feel like this being a 3 is probably the better option. It's not, because that'll just give them more ammo. We can make this a 1 of 4. With the risk of this being a loaded cannon, we would lose instantly if that happens. So I think this one being a 2 is probably better. Okay. Defense. We don't really have a choice. Either we load this one up. Actually, no. If we load this one, it's probably okay. Because we have this chain here that's going to reach up to here. This becomes a 4. There's nothing else here that reaches. This is a 3. That becomes a 4. This becomes a 3. I am going to take that risk. And then we have nothing else to do, so we just set it all off. I hope it chains. It does not chain. Well, it kind of chains. This here is probably the most effective. But we also have this portion here. Which then they'll take this area here. Otherwise, if we set this one off, we take this area here, which isn't much. Otherwise, we take this area here, which is a lot. But we know how easy it is to turn things around. But I think the pips around once we set things off are going to be pretty sparse once this goes off, so we might want to take this one. That I did not expect. Okay. No, I think they've won this one. Man. No, that's it. That's it. Gotta wait to watch now. I wonder if anyone's tried running an AI on this and seeing if there's much better strategy. Check the questions again. Nothing there. I feel like it's probably better to claim the corners than to try to propagate outwards. And the snow 4. I was thinking about asking you about stuff related to becoming a VTuber, but I feel like I've already asked you about that in chat. I was actually expecting people to ask me that stuff like that, so if you want to ask them again just for a public answer, I'd feel free. This doesn't look good. Maybe this one? Or this one? Or maybe we try to fortify the edges here. Yeah, so I do feel like maybe the next win is when we stop. Whenever the next one will be. Means I gotta actually think. This is a bad idea because that gives them that. That becomes a 3, which means they can set off that. That gets set off. We're gonna just make this one a 3. So if they set off this one, then damage is limited to that, and I can take this one back. Not that it does too much. Chain. We chain here. Okay, I feel like this is going to cascade, and if we don't take it now, it might be bad news for us. This is taking a while. Is this... I don't know if we have enough down here to really do my... There's this line. There's that line. Actually, this is all part of the same chain. Okay, we'll start by setting off this as a trigger. Is it enough to propagate? One, how did you get yourself a virtual model? So, funny story about this one. My artist approached me. Joking about making a VTuber model. And then it just kind of happened. Because I mean, she knew I was into VTubers. And I had actually thought about being a VTuber. But I figured it probably wasn't... it didn't seem like something that I would maybe necessarily do. And especially since at the time, there weren't any good options for Linux. You had to, I think, run VTube Studio under Wine or something, and I didn't want to get a Steam account. But then Inochi2D came along, and that changed everything. And then I was open to getting a VTuber model. And yeah, she approached me saying that she would make me a VTuber model if I wanted to, and so I accepted. Inochi2D, let me type that in the chat. Inochi means life in Japanese. Or like spirit or something like that. Chat still lags by a few seconds. It is still on low latency, so I think it is... I think you can expect between 2 and 5 seconds, and that I think is normal. YouTube does have the ultra low setting, where I think you get between 0 and 2 seconds, but if something lags, or rather if something happens during transmission, then you might end up getting a paused video while it buffers. So YouTube has some built-in buffering in place so that if something does happen during the transmission of my stream, then your playback is more or less seamless. I guess if I were to do VTubing, I'd still need to find somebody to make a model for me. I can't do art. Yeah, that's one of my problems, because I don't art. At least I don't do visual arts or drawing. You can ask my artist if you like this art, and you're interested in being a VTuber. Maybe she'll do one. She is in the Discord server. Start as 17 if I'm gonna put a name drop there. But yeah, definitely wouldn't have become a VTuber if I couldn't find somebody to do both the art and the rigging. I had considered doing the rigging as well myself, but it is a big undertaking, and knowing myself, I probably wouldn't have been able to finish it. So you learn when to outsource things. Your next question is, I previously asked you about voice changers, but you aren't using one anyway. That is correct. Using a voice changer, while it can be cool, beneficial, whatever adjective you want to use to describe that, it also does limit you in a lot of ways. Because it means that you can't ever do an off collab. The off collab being like offline collab, where you get together with other people, and you always have to have your setup with you. But if you don't use a voice changer, then that's a lot more flexible, because then it's just your voice. And if you want to change your voice and not use a voice changer, you learn how to voice act. I guess I take this one. which I did. I mean, so in my debut, I attempted to voice act. The goal there was at least make a different voice for Ket, so that it would differentiate it from my regular speaking voice. And there we go. We have a win. Yeah, so differentiate it from the regular speaking voice because it was an interview format, right? So I needed some way to say that this is Ket speaking and this is me speaking. Because there was a portion where Ket wasn't on screen, but he was still speaking. So I had to make sure that there was something different. And also for people who don't have the visual, it's good to have some difference. From what I read online, I noticed that the voice changers tend to basically need a set of training data anyway, so there wasn't anything I could try out in short order. I guess the good ones. There are probably plugins, audio plugins that you can use to like pitch your voice up, if that's what you wanted to do. But if you wanted to change certain qualities of your voice, yeah, there are filters that can do it. It'll sound probably less human, but it all depends on what the effect you're going for is. And of course, to varying degrees of quality as well. But yeah, well, this was a win, so I'm not going to start another one. It's best to end on a win. But if you do have more questions, I can hang around for a little bit longer, and then we can leave it there. But yeah, so I think the strategy that's... So, I think it was Sony who mentioned it. You know, work on the mid game so that when... So build up the so-called fortress in the mid game so that you can do a lot more chaining, because it's the chaining that gets you the very big swings in territory. Against a bot, I guess it doesn't really matter too much in terms of unexpectedness, but if you're playing against a human, and this does have two-player modes, against a human, I think it would be a lot more interesting to set up certain chains in the middle, where even you might not even know how to chains. It kind of reminds me of Puyo Puyo a little bit. So Puyo Puyo, if you're an experienced Puyo Puyo player, you will see the chains. Maybe not at the tail, but certainly at the heads. But to somebody who's not experienced, it all just seems like magic. It just somehow all connects together. It's kind of like Heap Sort in that way too. Heap Sorts, I mean, I guess you kind of just have to look at an animation for it to make sense. But yeah, just one more check at the questions, and I don't see anything. So I'm going to assume that those are all the questions there. If you have any more, feel free to send them in Discord, or I mean, I guess I can check the Q&A as well. Maybe we'll save it for another Q&A stream. Maybe I'll answer it publicly on social media or something. But I think that can be it for this stream. Next stream, we will be... Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, which means tomorrow's stream will be Arranging Pieces. It is a song by Hoshimachi Suisei. It's one of her lost songs because she is not able to sing it anymore. There were certain ownership difficulties with it. I can go over in more detail in the next stream. But long story short, she can't sing it anymore, so it's up to us fans to keep it alive. And I want to do a concert band arrangement of it. Maybe it'll turn orchestral depending on how it sounds. But for now, the goal is to make a concert band, and we'll see how far we go with it. I don't expect to finish it next stream, in one stream. It'll probably be a series. But yeah, look forward to that. Last question: how would you reform intellectual property law to improve it? This is a very interesting question, because I think there are problems with intellectual property laws, because they were built in an era where it was a lot harder to remix things, I think. So if you were to rebuild it today, I think it would be more beneficial for it to, because the whole point of copyright, say, is for people to be creative, right? You don't want people just outright stealing your work, and just reusing it as is and claiming it as their own. Copyright attempted to remedy that, or to address that, by saying, no, you can't outright copy this. You have to change it, but also you have to get the creator's permission to do that. Now, I think in an age where we have very easy capabilities to make derivative works, and people will do it anyway, I think it would be beneficial to have something with that in mind. So I think Creative Commons is a set of licenses that allows you to very freely reshare and remix and all that, almost as you like. And I do try to license my stuff under those licenses, because I do value being able to share things and let other people build on it, because nobody. It's been said that nobody really creates any truly novel things, right? Everyone is always building on something else, and if you acknowledge that fact, then you acknowledge the fact that people build on other things that exist, and so there must be a way for you to. It would be beneficial for there to be a way for you to do that easily and not encumbered. But yeah, definitely a complicated question. Could dive into it a lot more. I do plan on doing a future stream where I look over software licenses and look at their qualities and what might be good and what might be bad about them. A disclaimer, of course, I'm not a lawyer, so it'll be from a layman's point of view. But at some point I do want to do that. So we'll see when that happens. But yeah, would be interested in a stream about software licenses. That's good to hear. And then so I had two ideas for software license streams. One is where I would just read them out loud, but I don't think my voice would be able to keep up, and I'm not an ASM artist, so that's it's not exactly something that I would do anyway. And then the other one is more educational, where I go through them and show you around them and all that. Okay, is there anything else? So tomorrow's stream, as I said, we are going to be arranging Suisei's pieces. I got permission from a certain arranger who made a piano arrangement. So we're not going to be transcribing anything, thankfully. So yeah, hopefully it'll just be all arrangements, and we'll have a good time. That's all for now, I guess. All right. But yeah, then again, if you do come up with anything more, feel free to send them in the Discord or the Q&A. I will be checking the Q&A and seeing if there are more and figuring out how to answer them. But that will be perpetually open. I should probably post a link somewhere that's public and permanent. But yeah. For any other conversation you might want to do, and this goes for all of you, we do have the Discord, again, link in the description. If you aren't already there, come check it out. You can get notifications for when I'm live and when my schedules are, and all that good stuff, and also chat with the community and all that. Yeah, discuss other VTubers, because I'm a big fan of VTubers. Which reminds me, I should load that up. So, I did mention Uruka is streaming. in 20 minutes, or I guess almost 15 soon. I'm not gonna math that. So I will be going and watching that once this is done. I hope that's the right one. But she will be playing violin. Yes. 17 minutes. Okay. I think that's it. It has been 1 month. And it has been a good month, and I hope we can get another good month to round off the year. I look forward to an automaton stream at some point when I get the equipment from after Black Friday. Yes. Okay, that's it. I still have to work on these endings, so at one point I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope this game is probably new to a lot of you, and so I hope it sparked some interest. Again, if you want to play the link to the game is in the description. If you're on Linux, it's probably in your repos. If you're on Windows, there's a link to an installer somewhere in the bottom there. If you're on Mac, I'm sure there's a way to get it. Near Automaton. So spoiler alert, I have been one of the songs I have been learning to play is Weight of the World. So it'll happen. Okay, no, that's it. I gotta go. Because otherwise we'll stall for a lot longer. Yeah, so thanks for coming. Stuff. Go join the Discord. What else? It doesn't matter. Alright, good night, chat. See you next stream.